Bitcoin looking like it's getting ready to break all-time high. And I mean truly break all-time high with some power, with some momentum, entering price discovery. In this video, I want to talk about the short-term price charts, namely the daily, some things I spotted very much in comparison to last cycle as we entered the parabolic era of the bull market. And I also want to zoom out on the charts. Obviously, I always like to do this foundationally and revisit a couple things on the monthly and the weekly that I think really put into perspective where we are. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's jump into the video. This is Willy Woo. 40 days to the Bitcoin. I keep forgetting that the Bitcoin halving hasn't happened. And that's partly what I want to talk about. 40 days to the Bitcoin halving when Bitcoin inflation drops to less than half that of gold, which makes it the hardest money in the history of humanity. Buckle up. I keep forgetting, everybody, and we can go to the monthly chart. A couple things I want to talk about here. Because we broke the bull market doors, and that's this yellow rectangle. It's a lower high resistance area from a bull market to bear market. It's a Fibonacci channel. That's all it is. A long-term indicator that I track. But since we broke those doors, I keep forgetting that the halving, which is right around here, hasn't happened yet, because every cycle past it's happened. And I just want to throw that reminder. I know I talk about it all the time, but I just want to throw that reminder out there because this truly does set the stage for a bull market like we've never seen. But on the monthly, what I just wanted to point out was just a quick reminder in terms of the monthly oscillator, the RSI, slower moving momentum oscillator. And I kind of want to keep in mind the fact that the halving hasn't even happened yet. Every cycle, because things look like when you're really zoomed in on the charts, the daily on Bitcoin or even altcoins, which we're going to talk about a little bit of altcoins towards the end of the video. You look at what's happening zoomed in, even the daily chart on Bitcoin, and you're like, oh, this is getting too heated. This is getting way too hot right now. You go to monthly, and for me, I need to remind myself of just the macro, the zoomed out stage of cycles. There can be big dips on the shorter term, and there will be. We just saw one the other day. But the monthly oscillator, look at the momentum of Bitcoin right now, sitting at, what is that sitting around? Sitting around 76 or so. And I have these lines on the monthly, and I'm going to leave them here, just showing where Bitcoin went to from a momentum perspective on the monthly slower moving momentum oscillator. So you can see 2020 like 90, 2017 94, 2013 was like 97. We're still just now entering this era, this new bull market. So I just wanted to put that out there. On the weekly, I haven't covered the stock RSI. I need to start covering it more just because we're kind of getting into this more, there's a little bit quicker price action happening now at this part of the cycle. And the stock RSI, we just looked at the slower moving momentum oscillator, the RSI on that monthly. The quicker moving momentum oscillator, it reacts quicker, is the stock RSI. And that's what you see right here. And you can see how it moves. It just moves quicker than the RSI. Here's the RSI down here, and here's the stock, right? So down, overbought, oversold, very quick. But what I wanted to point out was at this stage of the cycle, meaning breaking these doors, what I noticed was if you look at when we broke the doors last cycle, right around the same time, Bitcoin was kind of hovering and just overbought on the stock RSI. And what happened? I mean, it just kept going. It kept going higher, but it hung out and overbought on the stock RSI for quite some time. This is just another view and another indicator that there's a ton of room for upside for Bitcoin right now. You want to talk about price discovery? We're not even at the halving yet. Look at the stock RSI. It's not even as high as Bitcoin was, and Bitcoin hung out. Got to slow down. Hung out up there for quite some time. Bitcoin's not even at that level. So this thing can just hang out and overbought for some time. And this is a good segue to pivot to the daily because that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking to see if there is continued momentum available for Bitcoin to the upside. And we just saw there is. We saw there is on the monthly, the macro, big dips in between, of course, on the shorter term. But now even on the weeklies, we start zooming in, there's room. If Bitcoin wants to break out today, even tomorrow, whenever. But we're going to talk about two perspectives here because this is the move. This is Bitcoin breaking. I mean, it is, we can finally almost get rid of this price target of just above $70,000. I almost kind of wanted to get rid of it the other day because it got so close, but it's just this rising wedge price target that it's really the bear market formation for Bitcoin. If you zoom out on the daily, a huge pattern broke out of the pattern November 2023, and we've been tracking this just for a long time. It's nice to always hit a target, get rid of the target, and kind of remove it from the chart. But the next target after that will be 85, which is another kind of smaller rising wedge that Bitcoin has most recently broken out of, right in the middle of those bull market doors. Now, the price action that's happening right now, so I'm going to be watching. Can we hit this target, 70,000? Might be a good area of resistance, actually. And that plays into this next piece of the segment I want to talk about. If we go back and we look at last cycle, what I want to do is on the daily, because from a price action perspective, I want to just see where are we kind of in a very similar type of zone. Breaking the bull market doors, just did this, right? Bitcoin around 20% overextended from those doors. What did it do? It fell and revisited those doors, right? The upper end of those doors. And I just want to point something out. And that is, if we go to Bitcoin now, you can see Bitcoin, if we get our price range from the bull market door top to where it is right now, it's right around 19, 20%, right? So Bitcoin maybe hit this target. I'm not saying there's going to be massive wall of resistance and Bitcoin's going to fall back to the door area. However, I will say this is basically what happened last cycle, right? It did retrace pretty heavily right here, and then it went to price discovery. That's something I'm watching for. But one thing I want to note, which is kind of opposing to that, is if we go back, because look at Bitcoin testing the real breakout into price discovery. There's all-time high. Now, if we go back to that same move last cycle, right? This move where we got this big dip back to the bull market doors and we zoom out, check this out. Bitcoin was at the same time testing that previous all-time high in 2017. So what I really want to do, and what I'm doing, is I'm comparing these two scenarios. Bitcoin finally did break into price discovery. And so here's the two scenarios. We're about to hit a similar resistance and retrace, or Bitcoin's going to break into price discovery. And if that's the case, Bitcoin could truly have a really nice, next few days or so on these price charts. So this is what it looks like. And we are there right now. I mean, this is decision-making time. It's going to be very interesting to see what kind of even potential resistance for Bitcoin, because obviously we have the shorter term swing high, the all-time high Bitcoin's testing, and we do have this target, which is a macro target. This range right here, if Bitcoin could just power through it, it could be an exciting time of price discovery. Remember, next target for Bitcoin, $85,000. It sounds crazy to say. I want to pivot. I want to talk really briefly. Just want to throw this out there just because I'm keeping an eye on it, but I'll do a longer form video. Bitcoin dominance. If we go to Bitcoin dominance chart, all while I'm talking so bullish about Bitcoin, look at Bitcoin dominance this week, a red weekly candle. That's because altcoins are basically outperforming Bitcoin. It is the beginning of altcoin season. Altcoin season basically just getting warmed up. Bitcoin dominance will never be the same, and I just don't think it will be ever the same. We have the two most bullish narratives in the history of Bitcoin, basically. The Bitcoin halving paired up with the Bitcoin spot ETF, institutions coming in, inflows like crazy, and Bitcoin, even in this environment, is not outperforming altcoins. This just says something powerfully for altcoins. Not bad or bearish for Bitcoin, but altcoins in gains percentage will likely outperform Bitcoin. And I wanted just to mention that because I think it's a very big deal. It's something that we should all keep our eyes on. Even people that are just only in Bitcoin. It's good to, I think, understand the dynamics of the entire crypto market because, again, Bitcoin is just around 50% of it. So hit the subscribe, everybody. I appreciate you cruising through. Turn notifications on as we do more updates, crypto news, Bitcoin, altcoin charts, all that good stuff. I will see you in the next video. God bless.